Hey, you ever been to Chancellor Park? That's where I live. My name is Tavin Dillard, and I live in a trailer park called Chancellor Park, and I mow lawns. I'd like to introduce you to my town. I've been making YouTube videos since about 2006, and then I've transitioned over to other platforms like the TikToks and the whatnot. But here on this podcast, I'd like to clue you into what's going on with me here lately. And this is like the pre-introduction. Now I'm going to send it off to myself for the real introduction. I'm glad you joined me. Bink, bink. Welcome to the Tavin Dillard Podcast, Season 2, Episode 14, y'all guys. This Season 2, Episode 14. You know how many episodes we have in Season 2? 15. So that tells you next week's the last episode in this season. We gonna do a Season 3? Should it do a Season 3? Can you let me know what you think about a Season 3 of the Tavin Dillard Podcast? Text me. My text number, you can text me in the show notes, 501-322-6249, or you can email me at tavindillard@gmail.com. And you'll see, anyways, you save my email address and you see my phone number in the show notes, and that's how you let me know, what you're thinking. But this Season 2 is just about to be in the books. In the books. What book? I do not know. What library? I ain't sure what library it's going to be in. What Dewey Decimal System am I going to have to use to get... And where's the card catalog so I can look up the book that Season 2 of the Tavin Dillard Podcast is going to be in? I almost called it the Tavin Dillard episode, but it's a library of episodes inside the season. And then the season would be inside the book, that'd be inside the library somewhere where you say Season 2 in the books. I don't know none of that. I don't know what I'm talking about right now. I do know this. My name is Tavin Dillard. I mow lawns. I live in Chancellor Park. This is a podcast, which is like a radio show. You listen to it with your ears. You ain't got no pictures to look at, ain't got no videos to look at, ain't got no words to read. You just got ears to listen to the stories I'm telling you about what's going on in town. Now, you can take out whatever device you might be listening to the podcast on. It's like a radio show. And then you look at this show notes, and it'll take you to the links I'm talking to you about where it'll show you the information. I don't guess that's specifically links. It's just you see a phone number there, you see an email address there, and a little bit there's another link I'm going to be talking about that is so delightful. You will be happy to check that link out. But we've been playing in the Winter League adult softball season. Well, we up against the Winter League adult softball season, just like we up against the end of this podcast season. It's two seasons running parallel to each other, running side by side, running next to each other, and they all both about done. In fact, we wrapped up the Winter Adult Softball League season this week, and it's a hoot. We playing loose and free. It's just how we playing out there, I think, because it just don't have the same intensity. Didn't feel like all eyes are on you and the pressure and everything of the spring summer league that is about to start in about a month. More on that later, maybe, if I remember to tell you. Otherwise, just kind of bookmark that spring summer season going to start here directly. So that's how that works. That's where we are in everything. And we doing next week. I told you the last season, or the last episode of this season is next week, and that's the Q&A episode. Now, the Q is for questions that y'all been sending in to me through the text message. You could do that. Through the email, you could do that. And all that's in the show notes if you want to reach out to me and ask me a Q&A question. I've been getting them, and so getting them organized, and I'm going to have that ready, episode ready next week. With the answers, because that's my job. My job is the answers, the questions that y'all sent. Appreciate hearing from y'all. Well, let's get into this last game of the Winter League. Cody Mantell only got in one actual fight during the season, which really surprised me. I was thinking it could be upwards of 4 or 5 fights, multiple fights a night even. But I believe it's the first game, that he was in on our team where that happened. And then he did take the ball and go home once. Now, ball, I mean remote control plane that he crashed before the game, and he left and didn't even play with us that day. And that was his choice. But other than that, he hung in there pretty good, delivered for the team for the most part. JT Whitlow, he's going steady with Cody's cousin now, Whitney. Remember when he was making a move on cricket? I sure do. Well, speaking of cricket, now you know she's my girlfriend now. We dating. That's my gal. And we went on a date this week. It ain't often that we get to do that, and I decided to do something different, even though I do love Bud's Burger Shed, favorite place to eat in town. But instead of taking her there, or to Sonic, or Bickham's All You Can Eat, Catfish Buffet, all great choices, I took her out on the lake to the bait and tackle shop. That's where Rance Farnhart works. You know he work out there? I mean, he owns it. He ain't just an employee though, and he got a little restaurant at the bait and tackle with the patio. That patio served two purposes. He give haircuts out there, and he also, he has his restaurant customers eat out there too. Cricket liked it. We both got the fish and chips. It's a pretty day on the lake, and then she grabbed a pole out of her car because, well, she carried all kind of things that she might need, in her car, so just in case of she see the opportunity. Hunting, fishing, camping, you name it. So I'm still finishing supper out there because it's before dark. Like I said, it's a date. This ain't like a quick lunch break or nothing like that in the middle of the day. This is like a date, like we spend time together. It's like a sit-down meal. You looking across the table at each other, catching up on the day's events and everything like that away. Well, I'm still finishing out there. She done, and she get that pole out of her car, and she catch 3 fish in about 3 minutes. It's something else. Hard not to brag on her, though. She won't let you, but I try anyway. I'm over here trying to catch my first fish at 20-22, and she's bringing in 3 quicker than you can say, hey, is that a fish? Good night out there. She wasn't working the concession stand come game night, but she was going to go to the fields anyway, once her shift at the nursing home was over. And she been, busy out there. It's been quite a circus a little bit in the last month and a half with Doreen Fundle losing her pet goldfish named Captain Thunderboots. Word on the street is she's going to get a replacement. And when Cricket asked her what she's going to name it, she goes, I'm going to name him Captain Thunderboots. And you can do that with pets. You don't want to probably name all of your kids. If you have like 12 kids, all of them the same name, it'd be hard to keep up with them. But I guess if you got a fish, and with pets, it's different because, a fish will live just a few months or however long you can manage to keep it alive, and then you just bring in the next. And so that's the word on the street is that Doreen Fundle may have a new Captain Thunderboots sooner than later. Cheryl Grubbs was working the stand down there, though, at the softball fields. She just did the standard lineup over there tonight. I think since she had the great concession stand accident at 20-22, she kind of slowed her roll. She ain't as ambitious with them options, which I'm glad about that. I've been saying from the beginning, you just serve what they're giving. Just do the hot dogs, the soda pops, just the canned sodas you just pulling out of an ice cooler and saying, here you go. We ain't trying to pour it over ice or nothing like that. We at the softball fields concession stands for crying out loud. Bag of Skittles, snow cones. I mean, I personally subscribe to the fact that if you got a snow cone, if you got a concession stand, snow cones should be on there, but your list should be 5 items or less on the menu at a softball field concession stand. We ain't trying to bring in the bacon wrap hot dogs and the chili bowls and the nacho bowls and the nacho chili cheese bowls and fries and tater tots and everything else. Let's just keep it simple. And Cheryl Grubbs, she seemed to get that message. Now, here's the deal. That ain't my responsibility. You know how they say stay in your lane? I got to stay in my lane. I'm there to softball fields to steady still first base, hit soft singles to right field, and win softball games, buddy. That's what I do. And I still second, third base too. I still home. Don't matter to me. I can't stay on the base long. I got to be moving to the next one. That's just how I am out there. So that's my job. I'm out there at the softball fields to help Bud's Burger Shed put another W up on that board. And sometimes I get a little sidetracked, get a little frustrated that the concession stands, folks will run it different than I would. But that ain't their problem. That's my problem. I gotta let it go. Ain't none of that concern me when I step between them lines at the softball field. If they serving nachos or Skittles or nacho Skittles, I got to put that out of my mind. Steady focus on that softball. So it seemed like it was going to be a normal night at the concession stand when Mary Beth Tucker shows up with 2 baskets of hot dinner rolls that are softer than a baby angel's leg. Well, here we go again. It wouldn't be the last night of the season if something wild didn't happen, I suppose. And so Mary Beth Tucker, her mama's got this great recipe. Mary Beth learned it. All the folks know about it, but this is a surprise.
It was a surprise to Cheryl Grubbs, who was working the concession stand. It was a surprise to everybody there. And 2 baskets might sound like a lot, but them go quick. And then you might have angry, customers that didn't get nothing. You just setting yourself up for a little bit of a mess. But anyhow, they got Tavin's honey from Bees in the concession stand now, and that combo was a hit. How's that for a softball pun? You can get a jar at the link in the show notes from beehouse.com. That's Tavin's honey from Bees. That honey went as fast and as far as them hot dinner rolls would take them. And then them rolls sold out. Well, Mary Beth, here's how it went. She saw Cheryl and she said, "Hey girl, mind if I hop in here with you tonight?" And Cheryl was kind of wide-eyed, but also could see that there's only one answer to that question. And the concession stand ain't big. For 2 healthy portioned adults, it's going to be a little tight. You kind of shoulder to shoulder. Don't drop nothing. You ain't going to be able to bend down and get it. When Cheryl Grubbs was in there like a month or so ago with her doggy jalapeno, it was tight enough when that doggy had that accident in there and Cheryl throwed up because of the stank. So you can imagine Cheryl Grubbs in there with Mary Beth Tucker and 2 baskets of hot dinner rolls and everything else they usually serve in there. So anyways, Cheryl Grubbs, she makes room for Mary Beth, and they got that Bee House honey down there at the concession stand. So, again, you put that on the roll, you're going to sell out pretty quick. We's playing over at the field. Meanwhile, over at the softball fields, we's playing pretty loose and free tonight. Russell Tucker messed with the lineup again, guys playing where they usually don't, that kind of thing. I went ahead and pitched for a while. I try to keep it low and in the zone. That ain't easy in slow pitch softball, but I managed to get a lot of ground ball outs. And JT Whitlow, he's gobbling up grounders at second base, and after every out he got, he'd blow a kiss to Whitney in the stands. She brought an air horn. It would have been obnoxious if we wasn't all in good spirits, and truth be told, if it wasn't the last game of the season. I mean, I could not imagine them doing that every game all season long without us just telling him to go home and kicking him out. Third inning, Rusty Tidwell standing on second base because he seemed to always hit a double. And Cody Mantell hits a screamer down the third base line. Their third baseman's Brody Childress, who said he didn't want to play Winter League and he ain't on our team now. Well, he was playing third for the other team, and he dived onto third base. Like his torso is across that bag, and he landed on it hard. That ball went on by him and hit a half-drank Diet Mountain Dew can that was sitting just inside the foul line, and what was left in that can just went everywhere. It was like a Diet Mountain Dew firework. Well, what it do to the ball is slow it down, but don't really change the trajectory because that ball's big and it's going fast. Well, Rusty Tidwell's pretty much home once he see that ball get by Brody. Once it's heading down the line, Rusty's off. And their left fielder, Ricky Don Pearson, he's a volunteer firefighter too. He's having a hard time getting to the ball because he starts running back. And then once that Diet Mountain Dew go everywhere, he get confused. But that ball's still coming his way, but just not quite as fast. So now, but he's broke backwards on it. Like he's broke toward the wall. But that ball ain't back that far yet. Cody picks up on that, and he just keeps running. Well, Ricky Don see the ball rolling by him because it eventually get to him, but it ain't in the air or nothing like that. He chase it down. He just grab it. He turn it. He throw it. He launch that thing on the fly to second base. Only thing is, Cody Mantell's already rounding third. They ain't got no play at the plate, and that was the most of the night. How much of the night was it, Tabin? Scoring runs? Oh, it was 18-11 by the end. I mean, we gave up some runs too, not as many as them. I told you I was pitching. I got a lot of ground balls, but they also made some good contact. I gave up a 3-run shot, a 2-run double, grand slam before Russell let Barnhart pitch. Rance is there, and he kind of came in and, settled it down a little bit. Not the best line score for me, but Bud's Burger Shed won the final game of the Winter League with a pretty impressive record of 8-2. No playoffs, no trophies, we done. I will say that quite a few ringers set out Winter League, so don't hear me saying it was the cream of the crop we was beating, but I am seeing what happened. We ended up 8-2. I had 7 stolen bases. That's way less than 1 a game, but I'll stretch out and get ready for the spring. That's how that's going to work. I ain't no quitter. I got a plan. I'm working that plan. I got to do Bud's lawn this week. He's happy with the work that I've been doing. I'm glad. Otherwise, it'd be awkward. I eat there all the time. I'm on the Burger Shed softball team. Imagine if he fired me for being a bad lawnmower. But he ain't done that. He's a happy customer, and I'm a happy lawn mowing man. I may do a little fishing soon. Probably have Cricket give me some tips, since she apparently knows what she's doing. I'm telling you, bait and tackle date's way fancier than it sounds. We had a good time out there. Skaters ain't out yet, nothing like that, so you ain't got to worry about that. So once that happens, it may be a little different story. I know Rance is doing some things. He's trying to light a citronella candle out there, so it still looks kind of fancy. And then the mosquitoes, though, they're like, well, I don't want to be over here. So I don't know. That's going to be his problem. Just like I said, we all got our lanes to stay in. Handling the skeeters out on the lake at the bait and tackle shop, on the patio where haircuts and food is served, that's Rance's deal. I help him if he needs to, but that ain't what I need to worry about. Just like I don't need to be worried about no concession stand. I mean, end of the day, everybody got fed out there this season that wanted to get fed one way or another. So I didn't need to get all worked up. I just needed to keep hitting them soft singles. And I made some pretty good contact a few times. But a lot of times is somebody else was sitting there with a glove to stop it. And that's just how that go. But I tell you, it has been a good season. Team Burger Shed got free snow cones this week because we won. To nobody's surprise, there was not any hot dinner rolls that was softer than a baby angel's leg available by the end of our game. And they was out of bee house honey. So I see Cricket walking over to me from the bleachers, and she's got a napkin in her hand. I got a tangerine snow cone in mine. She smiles at me, pulls back that napkin with what? One of Mary Beth Tucker's hot dinner rolls that's softer than a baby angel's leg with some of the bee house honey right on top. Oh, buddy, I put a hurting on that so quick. I told her thanks because what she did was thoughtful, and truth be told, I only heard about them dinner rolls. I ain't never made it in time to actually try one. It's all just the talk of the town kind of thing. Like, oh, did you hear about them? Yeah, I heard about them. I've been hearing about them, y'all guys. I've heard about them dinner rolls that Mary Beth Tucker makes it softer than a baby angel's leg. But have I tasted them? Oh, you got to taste them. I know I got to taste them, but you know how I taste them? Only if they still around. But they never around by the time I get there, because usually they at a place where I got other work to do. I got a softball game to win. I can't be over there running in the middle of an inning like Myron in the middle of a game and getting a little bite of a hot butter dinner roll softer than a baby angel's leg. I ain't never had the opportunity to try one until tonight. And you might say, boy, they really got talked up a lot, didn't they? Well, yeah, you can talk a lot about something and make it sound way better than it is, but then sometimes there's some things people talk about, oh, it's great, oh, it's great, oh, it's great, and then you try it and they didn't talk it up enough. I'm just going to say it like that. And of course, I wasn't going to hog the tangerine snow cone all to myself. About that time, Myron Curtis hollered, "Team party at the Burger Shed." He's putting on his helmet. That's his moped helmet, not like a batting helmet for the old softball team. He's putting on his moped helmet, and he is struggling to snap under that third chin of his. I mean, he's going to need Rance to give him a haircut just so that helmet will fit soon. It's that close right now. Just steady snapping that thing under his chin. And he put on his helmet. Mary Beth climbed on the back of that moped holding 2 empty baskets from them rolls, and off they went into the night. Then the rest of us followed. Rance Farnhart, J.T. Whitlow, Rusty Tidwell, Cody Mantell, Shane Grubbs, Mort Waddell, Russell Tucker all head over to the Burger Shed for plenty of burgers, curly fries, milkshakes, Dr. Pepper. And that, my friends, is how the winter adult softball season went, and that is how season 2 of the Tab and Dillard podcast went. We are up against the end of season 2 right now. Next week, we got the Q&A. Thanks to everybody who sent in questions. That's going to wrap up season 2 next week. Again, the show notes is where it's at today. Text me. You see my number there. Email me. You see my email there. Rate this show. And check out Tavin's Honey from Bees at the link right there in the bio. Head on over there and pick up some sweet honey. They're great on biscuits, of course, rolls that are softer than a baby angel's leg, and great as a gift. You'll see that link in the show notes. I appreciate y'all. And if you ain't gave up 9 runs as a pitcher in Adult Winter League softball game this week, you doing better than me. Have a good one, y'all, and we'll see you later.